Hi there, welcome back. I owe you like a lot of videos that I said that I was going to do, but I get so overwhelmed with what's happening in my life because it shifts and changes so much. It's like as soon as something happens, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so now I have to record that so that I can give proof for all the things that I'm saying. But then something else happens before I sit down to record it, and then it just keeps going. So I have like, I don't know, like 3 weeks of things to get caught up on. So let me just pause real quick. When I take too long in between recording videos, it's just like anything. It's like any human ever that when we're going along on a path of something and we're like just used to doing it every day, then you take a day or two off. It's like, oh, there's so much, I don't know, it just feels like hesitation or like tension between like the point at which you were at and the point at having to restart again. So that's why the best thing to do is to like stay on a routine every day where you commit to the things that are important to you. So this is the big struggle that I've been having since I started this channel and the other one is maintaining that balance with life and what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing here on the internet. Okay? So um because if you want to know why I'm here and what I'm doing, I don't really know. Why are you here? What are you doing? You don't really know. We're just the people who are going to be drawn to this channel and who feel something from the channel, from the things that I say. You are the people who are looking for something more in life. And even if you're not, even if you don't know why you're here and you're just like, what is this girl talking to me about? You're still going to find some things that you're going to see in a different way than what you saw before. Okay. Even if we reach a point of where I say something and you're like, okay, she had me up until that point, and now like I don't agree with what she's saying. And that's totally okay. I'm just trying to, I guess the thing that I do well is to create metaphors for understanding because I have learned so many different things in this life because I've just been, I think probably like my happy place since I was born was anywhere that I can soak up knowledge, like information that I don't know. So when I was a kid, I used to watch Martha Stewart all the time because I wanted to know like all knowledge about everything, and she's a boss at that. Um, so I don't care how you feel about her. Her best friend is Snoop Dogg, right? So that they've been friends for a long time, and I thought that that was so cool. And it proves that like their friendship has like gone the distance. All right. So usually the people that I admired when I was younger, now that I see them 40 years later or 35 years later, they're still doing the thing. It's like I saw what I thought was so awesome about them when I was young, and it's like they hung in while everybody else fell by the wayside, and they're still seen as strong, right? So it's like it validated within me that the things that I'm drawn to, they have staying power. They have some sort of authenticity that cuts through all the bullshit of what happens in the present day as we just kind of shift through this changing environment of what the world is. Okay, so this is what I'm holding in my hand. It's the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So I'm going to read the Declaration after I finish this video. But I wanted to say that the reason why I have these earrings on is because I, okay, so there, I have a neighbor, and I don't really know her. I just know that when I had a garage sale last year, that she came over and we were talking, and she is into like craft things like I am. And I have this bale of hay that I had in the fall because it was like part of a decoration. I had pumpkins sitting on it and stuff, but it got snowed on before I had moved it out of the way. Now I had done the same thing last year, and okay, I was just double checking that I had my microphone on. Um, I did the same thing last year, and so like in the springtime, I used that hay for muddy areas in my yard where I have a little garden bed that I built. So I was going to do the same thing this year, but she stopped by and asked me if I could, like if she could have some. And the first thing in me was that inner child of like, no, you can't have my stuff, right? But I'm not really that type of person. And then she was kind of telling me like what she was going to use it for. And so my mind, it was like my ego answered first from within me because I was like, oh, well, I actually use it to line my garden path. I just haven't done it yet. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, then she was telling me what she wanted to use it for. And I'm thinking, girl, quit being so selfish. And just like she had like a little wheelbarrow with her. So I was like, yeah, I can definitely give you some. Okay. So I gave some to her. And then we were talking, and something came up about us both being interested in crafts, and she said, and I was saying that I make jewelry, and she was saying that she had a bunch of old costume jewelry, which, if you don't know what costume jewelry is, it's like, my grandmother used to work for a company called Sarah Coventry, which made costume jewelry. It's like this gaudy jewelry that is made out of cheaper gemstones, right? So it's like, instead of it being diamonds, it's rhinestones or something like that, so that you can have this really flashy jewelry. I think of it in terms of like the Great Gatsby, right? Like that time when people were wearing like really flashy jewelry, okay, but they weren't spending tons of money on it. So that's what costume jewelry is. But when my grandmother passed away, I used to spend a lot of time with her, trying on her jewelry with her. And when she passed, um, I was probably 17, so the decisions of what happened with her stuff were not up to me. So I didn't really get to have any of that stuff from her. So it makes me sad, because I had a diamond from her wedding ring, and I had it turned into a ring for me. And I've said it before in past videos that that ring disappeared when I was living in a haunted apartment. But I had two diamond rings, and I set them in the same place, and only that one went missing. Okay, the other one didn't. And I know where it is, but yeah, the other one I never found. But over time, I have had other jewelry find me, um that is representative of my grandmother. So when this woman said that she had all this costume jewelry, I was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible, because it's like, I don't get my grandmother's jewelry back. But this woman, she wanted my dried grass on my front yard, right? That's essentially what hay is. And in exchange, like 3 days ago, she told me that she would drop this costume jewelry off, because she said a lot of it is broken, but maybe you can use it to create your own stuff. So I see a bag on my front porch one day, and I go and look at it. And I have to tell you, like, the relevance of a lot of this stuff, it's not going to link in right now, but it's because I have so many things that I needed to share with the channel, that I didn't do it in a timely fashion. So it's like, we're in May now. We're in Taurus season. The sign of Taurus is it's like grounded and stubborn, and it represents the time of age between like 18, it's like Aries is from 0 to 7, and then Taurus is the 7 years after that, right? So it's like 18 to 15. So if you think of how a child develops between the ages of 18 to 15, it's like that is the time that we are in right now, where seeds start to take root. Okay, you have to think about it in terms of nature, because I have uh, a, a Native American friend. I prefer to call people from this land indigenous, like anybody from the homeland. They're indigenous people to the land. Okay, but just so everybody knows what I'm saying, she's a Native American, and she was telling me that they do a ceremony. It's like a seedling ceremony now, and like previously they did a thunder ceremony, which to me, thunder is equivalent with lightning. And they did that ceremony during the time of Aries. And Aries is a fire sign. So, like lightning, thunder, fire. Um, and it's a time of when we have this thing burning inside of us to get out of the winter months, especially in the northern hemisphere where you are affected by it. You're just like ready to start over again, to have a fresh start, to, like everything dies in the winter and then it comes back to life in the spring. So first you have this fire energy, and that's when things start to heat up so that they can grow. So now that we're in Taurus season, it makes sense they have a seed ceremony, because that's when seeds are planted in the ground, because it's warm enough for them to start growing, but they have to be stubborn and they have to take root. Okay. So if you learn the symbolism of things, then you can understand why it's in other cultures too. So just let me pause. Okay. So this is the container that the woman dropped off, my neighbor, because this is kind of what I was leading to before I got sidetracked with like the conversation about Taurus. But part of like Taurus season is that I think you get stubborn in what matters to you. And so that is why I haven't posted the way that I should, because I'm like so grounded in what's going on in my life right now. But I wanted to make sure that you see how I make connections with my external environment and what's going on a day-to-day basis. So I know that I'm on path for like what God wants for me, right? So I'm in alignment with my heart. Um, so as I'm looking through this, I can already see that some of the things that I wanted to show you are not in here, but one of the most important things is this. Okay, it is a crown. All right. And this is like an old-fashioned heavy-duty crown. this is not like a chintzy one that you would find at a costume store or a jewelry store or whatever, like Claire's. And the significance is that when I look back, when I filmed the video after going to court to try to win child support, I was in Louisiana, and this is from my other channel, but I was talking about how I got a Toyota Crown. That's a new car from Toyota. It's like a hybrid. And then I realized, I don't know why, that I've never realized this before, but crows have always been really important to me, like really significant. They're my spirit animal. Okay. I know if that sounds a little cheesy, but it's the truth. It's that they've been with me for since I was a kid, and they've always like held some sort of resonance with me. So when I was thinking about crown, I was like, holy shit, if you take the N off of crown, it spells crow. How did I never see this before? But so that's how like all of these silent things in my environment all link together to form meaning for me. Okay. So the thing with this crown is like, I was given a crown when I was in this really crazy unknown place in life when I had to go to court. I've never been to court before. And it was for something that I shouldn't have had to go to court for, right? It was child support. You shouldn't have to fight the parent of, your children. Okay, it's just too much. I don't want to talk about that. So anyway, I was given a crown then, but it was in the form of a car. Um, and then there's some other factors that I could talk about, but I just thought it was so crazy. And as my daughter was going through all the stuff that was in this container, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, look at this! It's Snow White." And it was this little figurine of Snow White. There was no other characters like that in there. Most of it is like jewelry and some just a little variety of things. Um, but the significance of that was that just the night prior, somebody said something about Snow White, referring to me as Snow White. Okay, so I thought it was just funny to me. I was like, dude, once you start playing in the realm of miracles, which is sort of like quantum physics and being in alignment with your heart and always going towards the things that you're scared of, it is so much more fun. It's so wild, right? I've seen miracles basis, on a small scale basis, but then in between the miracles are like months and years of this drudgery of things going wrong. But every once in a while, when a miracle pops in, then you're like, okay, all right, it's rejuvenating, and you have the ability to like go through another period of where things aren't working out. So these earrings, I would not buy earrings that are like this large and in charge, but I don't know what time period these came from, but they are definitely like antique. So, because I thought they were bracelets, and I had just bought bangle bracelets, and I have no idea where they are now. So I was like, oh, look at this. I was talking to my daughter. I lost my bangles, and now I got more, because the two earrings were next to each other, and I thought they were a bracelet. And I was like, oh no, they're earrings. And she was like, yeah, but you wouldn't wear earrings like that, would you? And I was like, I'm putting them in right now. So, yeah, so some things I would not choose for myself because they're a little bit too extreme. And if you like know me and you see the way that I look and the way that I dress, I think a lot of people just assume that I am just more on the realm of extreme as opposed to like what do you call it? I can't think of the word. They always refer to Republicans as this. But anyway, okay, hang on. This is a good point right now, because I am going to tell you in the future, we're going to have these long discussions about communication and language and how to learn how to communicate better, no matter where somebody is from or what environment you're in. But I want you to remember that even in your own language, you're at a loss for words many times. Okay. It's like, where is your mind going when you're trying to think of a word that you're coming up with? If you know all the words already, then how come we don't have access to them all the time? So, because I've learned a lot of languages, sometimes I think in other languages, right? But it'll only be like one word, or it will only be like sentence fragments that would make sense if I were just speaking English the way that we do in English, but turning it into the words of another language. Sorry, it looked like my camera kind of froze. So hopefully we're all good. But anyway, pause. Okay. So sometimes I don't reflect on my outside the most rebellious nature that is within me, because it's just like a little bit too wild. So like these earrings are a good example of that, where they're just like bigger and bolder than something that I would wear, but because it was given to me by someone else, it's almost like this gift that I'm proud to wear because it represents my connection with somebody else, right? My communication with this woman who is basically just a stranger. Um, and like I said, all I did was give her some of my grass, my hay, you know, and in return, she gave me all of these magical things. When my daughter took the little Snow White figurine out of the bag, there was a white feather attached to it. And it was like, it was just stuck to it temporarily. And so there was like 2 or 3 white feathers in here. And so when I see white feathers specifically, feathers of all kinds, but when I see specifically white feathers, that means angelic oversight in something. It's like angelic presence within that thing. And it seems like a gift from angels. Okay. So do I think it's silly to believe in angels and all these other things that we can't see? I absolutely do. I absolutely see the silliness of it. But I also understand that that's kind of what we're all looking for. We're all looking for something that gives meaning beyond just this normal life that we're living every day. Okay. So I'm trying to tell you how I have to overcome my inner bully, like my inner ego that always wants to tell me, like, that's stupid. Why don't you just go and live a normal life and make it easier on yourself? And I'm telling you, it's because I've tried to do that and it's never easier. It's only gotten harder. So that's how I'm hoping that what I show you with this channel is that you can feel confident to do the same thing because I am the walking, talking proof of it. Okay. So let me see. Also in this, I had on this necklace that you've seen in previous videos with a butterfly, but I put a knot in it because I wanted it to sit in the right place. I wanted it to be a little bit smaller. So I could not get the knot. I could not get the knot out of it, right? This is what I'm talking about with communication and how it's confusing because we have the same sounding words for different things. And then we have the same written words that sound different and have different meanings. It just all doesn't make sense. Language was created for confusion so that you have to crack the code if you want to gain power in this world. Okay. But regardless, um, so I removed that butterfly necklace, but I kind of broke it in order to take it apart and remove it. But in this collection of things, there is a glass bottle with a butterfly wing in it. Okay. I don't know where this woman got this stuff from. And I look forward to seeing her again because I don't know if she's a witch or if she like knows witches, but almost everything that's in here is significant of like witchy type stuff. Okay. There's selenite crystal in it, which is like a cleansing crystal. And it's not like there's multiple different rocks in here. It's like every little thing was sourced purely by like a spiritual source and combined in this thing that this woman just gave to me in exchange for my hay. Okay. So I'm going to leave it off at that. And I'm going to come right back on and record my reading of the Declaration of Independence. Okay. Because I want you to know what our country was founded on. I really want you to know it. And I want you to see how we don't, hang on. Okay, there's a train going by it, and it was at the really loud part. So you can still see it going by, but I think you can hear me. Okay, so the Declaration of Independence, there are a lot of words in here that are English words, but I have no idea what they mean. And I know most of the time I know a lot more words than most other people because I don't spend a lot of time talking out in this world. I spend a lot of time listening to other people speak or reading about things or whatever. So the best way to learn to communicate with words is to have a large amount of words to choose from to make sure that your meaning is getting across very precisely. But when you're trying to like exchange that with somebody else, then they have to know that meaning. And especially if you're trying to communicate with somebody with a different language. So, yeah, I'm going to cut it out right now because of that train. And then I'm just going to get started reading. Okay. I love you. I'll see you right back. All right. Bye.